let's just jump right in with one of the biggest questions you could ever ask. Seriously, people have been wrestling with this for thousands of years. But what if the answer wasn't just some dusty old philosophical debate? What if knowing whether or not you have a soul could completely change how you live your life, starting today?
So let's put it on the table. Are you, deep down, just a biological machine, a really, really complex computer made of flesh and bone running on electrochemical signals? Or is there something more to you? Some kind of higher consciousness, a spirit, a soul that exists beyond your physical body?
You know, this probably sounds familiar to a lot of us. In the story we're looking at, a teenager named Evan just lays it out there. He thinks all this soul talk is for later, much later. Right now, life is about having fun, being free. Who has time for cosmic questions when you're just trying to figure out your weekend plans?
And this is where it gets interesting. What if this whole soul thing wasn't about preparing for the end of your life, but about unlocking a totally different way to live it right now? What if it was the key to becoming, well, more?
Okay, section 1, a question over cocoa. This is where it all kicks off. A simple conversation between a father and son that puts that modern, impulsive mindset up against this huge, ancient idea. So this breaks it down into two basic possibilities. On one hand, you've got the soulless human. The body is an automatic machine and the brain calls all the shots based on instinct and desire. Kind of like a really smart ape living in a society. But on the other hand, you have a human with a soul. Here, there's a second, higher consciousness that's supposed to be in charge, even though our ego often tries to hijack the controls. And here's Evan's argument, and it's a classic. He basically says, hey, I've got a teen brain, it's not fully baked yet. He sees his impulsiveness not as a bug, but as a feature. It makes life spontaneous and exciting. He's actually arguing that not having all that boring logic is a kind of freedom. But then, his dad hits him with this. What if you didn't have to wait years for your brain to mature? What if you could tap into a wise, experienced mind right now? The idea is that this mind might already be there, inside you, as part of your soul, just waiting for you to log on. Which brings us to section 2, unlocking your inner superhero. If the philosophy isn't enough to convince you, what about the perks? This is basically the sales pitch for having a soul, and the benefits are framed as some pretty incredible upgrades, almost like getting superpowers. So, benefit number 1 is access to something called the mystic mind. And let's be clear, this isn't just about being smarter. This is a whole other level of consciousness. It's described as already being fully developed, wise, and experienced. It doesn't just think, it understands the deep rules of the universe and can even connect with other minds like it, no matter where they are. Then you get to the really cool stuff, soul superpowers. We're talking about taking those vague gut feelings or moments of intuition and turning them into sharp, reliable senses. Maybe even developing prophetic vision. But there are also active powers, like being able to travel outside your body in your sleep or create shields of energy for protection. The catch? They're locked. You have to develop them. And the third benefit kind of powers the other two, chakra energy centers. Think of these as the soul's hardware. They're the power plants that send and receive mystical energy. It's how a soul can work with life forces like chi or prana. Things our physical bodies, with all their chemicals and electricity, just aren't built to handle. All right, section 3, freedom and its consequences. A better mind, superpowers, energy centers. Sounds amazing, right? So what's the catch? Because there's always a catch. This is where we look at the trade-offs and what having a soul might actually cost. And this, right here, is Evan's biggest fear. Accountability. See, if you have a soul, that implies an afterlife. And an afterlife means your choices here, they stick with you forever. From his point of view, being soulless means when you die, it's game over. Clean slate, no cosmic punishment. And that's a pretty tempting version of freedom to give up. So you're left with two very different types of freedom. The soulless freedom is easy. You do whatever you feel like, and in the end, there's no ultimate price to pay. But the soul's freedom, that's the freedom to create. It comes with responsibility and a conscience for sure, but it also offers you the chance to become something truly magnificent. So let's move on to section 4, the soul's vulnerability. Just when you're getting sold on how powerful a soul can be, the story hits you with a massive twist. This amazing, creative entity, it's not invincible. In fact, it's vulnerable, and it needs to be protected. To get why it's vulnerable, we have to look closer at the mystic mind. And the story gives us this amazing metaphor. It's like having an unlimited internet connection to the entire universe. It's not a database of facts inside your head, it's a communication device. You have to actively send out questions, and then learn how to actually listen for the answers that come back. And to build on that idea, if the mystic mind is your cosmic internet, then your brain is the hard drive. And right now it's probably pretty cluttered, full of files you downloaded from all over the place without running a virus scan. The mystic mind's job is to use its connection to find a reliable source, a cosmic library of truth, and start cleaning up all the misinformation clogging up your system. And here it is, the real gut punch. Your soul is not automatically immortal. The text says it's sensitive, and get this, not eternal. And there are forces, called enemies, that are actively trying to distract you, drain your energy, and corrupt your soul. This changes everything. Suddenly, this isn't just about living a better life. It's about spiritual survival. It means what you do here matters a lot. Okay, our final section, the journey begins. After hearing about all the benefits, all the risks, and all the responsibility, how in the world do you find out for yourself? This part gives us a roadmap, a way to move from wondering if any of this is real to discovering how you can know for sure. So here's the 4-step game plan. First, you start asking questions. Think of it like typing a query into a universal search engine. Second, you have to listen for the answers and learn to sort the good stuff from all the junk mail and misinformation. Third, and this is the key, you have to act as if you have a soul. You test the theory by living it. And finally, you try to actually use the benefits. Can you access that mystic mind? The proof, they say, is in the results. This last metaphor really pulls it all together. The world isn't just some random, chaotic mess. It's an incomplete project, a giant puzzle, and every single person, every single choice is another piece. Finding your purpose is about figuring out where your unique piece fits. And that leaves us with this, the big one. It brings this whole cosmic conversation right back down to earth. If you decide to believe it, that you really are this powerful, creative, but also vulnerable soul, then the next question isn't some abstract idea. It's intensely practical. What now? In a world that feels as broken as this one, what are you here to build?